Yes, the meeting is being live streamed, so they say. We shall see. The stream is being live streamed, is what they say. See how it goes. See how it goes. Let's wait for the algorithm to do its thing and get some people here. Hey, it's Gang Lady who says good morning. Well, is it indeed a good morning? Or are you just saying that it is a morning to be particularly good on? To me, it is a good evening because it is approaching 10 p.m. Perhaps you are in a time zone where it is morning. Hello, Kristen says hello. Hail and hello to you. Great to see some people tuning in, saying hello, watching, all that stuff. Excuse the mess behind me. The virtual background thing wasn't working so well in my current ensemble, so I decided against it. Hello, Maestro OP. Sorry, Maestro QP. Well, hail and hello, everybody. Seeing some new faces, seeing some new names over here in the live stream. Texas Ranch Witch says, hey, hail and hello. Appreciate you tuning in and watching this random Midgard Musings live stream where you are going to listen to yours truly read from the Havamal. It is a late night live stream, and we are just gonna get some background music, not even music, background ambient sound. I will definitely be saying hi and hello to all of my live viewers, those who are tuning in and watching tonight, this late, this early, wherever it is that you are. Would appreciate it if I got to know a little bit about you. So where are you tuning in from tonight? Where are you watching from tonight, this morning, today, wherever you are? Just if you're watching live and you're feel so inclined, just drop it in the chat. Let me know. You don't even have to say specifically city, state, whatever. Just say region, country, whatever. That's fine. But yes, we've got a little bit of a harp music going on. Again, excuse the background mess imagery. I'm going to try to keep it from being too obvious. Almost 11 here, Columbus, Ohio. Very cool. Yeah, it's almost 10 o'clock here in the Middle Tennessee region of the United States. Texas, but not a Texan. Yes, I am in Tennessee, Maestro, but I am not a Tennessean. If this is your first time tuning into a Midgard Musings live stream, hail and welcome. My name is Jesse, and I usually run weekly podcast episodes on this platform, although I have a lot of other content in my back catalog regarding Norse heathenry, Germanic paganism, that sort of thing. It is a very nice organized mess. I appreciate you recognizing it as such. As dark as it is back there, this is a multifaceted, multi-purpose area. It's my workstation, it's my streaming station, it's a bunch of things. But anyway, again, Midgard Musings, this channel here is my place to talk about Norse heathenry, Norse paganism. If you aren't yet subscribed and that is the type of thing that you are interested in, then I invite you to please subscribe to this channel. Give this like button right down there. Smash it, give it a little tippity tap. You know what I'm saying? Almost 5 o'clock in Sweden. Well, awesome. We are international, my friends, all over the world. So we've got folks here in the United States of America, and then we also have people in Northern Europe. So hail to my Swedish friend. It's a Gangleri. For those that don't know, Gangleri is a kenning or a name of the Allfather, Odin. And if you can read about that, I believe it's in the Bafudismal. It's in one of the poems of the Poetic Edda, which we are actually going to be reading from today. So in Sweden, it's Gangleri, where you are. We are going to be starting your day with some readings from the Havamal, which is a poem contained in the Poetic Edda. Born on the Border. Very cool. So we got some Texans here. We got some non-Texans that are in Texas. We've got a non-Tennessean who lives in Tennessee. We've got a Swede, or at least somebody in Sweden. So very awesome, very cool. But today we are going to be, I'm just going to be reading a little bit from the Havamal. And I just figured it would be a nice way to, end your night or start your day if you are in Europe or other places abroad. So yeah. Alan, welcome. Thank you so much. If you are wanting to support Midgard Musings in any way, there are ways that you can do so. You can send a super chat donation. You can also send super thanks, or there's a little thanks icon or something later on that might appear. And so, yeah, I mean, there's all that. You can also check the description area of my videos to see, what I offer for Patreon and merchandise and so many other wonderful things and cool things. The translation, Kristen, that we are going to be reading from tonight is actually the Jackson Crawford Wanderers Havamal translation. I have several in my possession, but I thought that I would give a shot at reading a bit in Old Norse, and then read the English variant or translation of it. So the Dr. Jackson Crawford version has the Old Norse, and we have a Swede, or at least somebody in Sweden, present here tonight. So I know that a lot of the Nordic languages are of course, Old Norse is a mother language to much of the Nordic modern day languages. I think the closest thing that we have in existence right now to Old Norse is modern Icelandic. I could be wrong. But so, forgive me if I mispronounce things. I am doing the best that I can. I'm gonna read some stanzas in Old Norse and then read the English variants or version. So we're gonna start with, of course, stanza 1. All right. So here we go. Havamal, the Dr. Jackson Crawford Wanderers Havamal translation, stanza 1, first in Old Norse and then in English. Gothir aller gangi fram, skodas skili, skignas skili. Vi at ovist eret vita, hvar ovnir sitja ot fleti fitir. At every doorway before you enter, you should look around. You should take a good look around, for you never know where your enemies might be seated within. Gifinder helia, gisir en inkomin, hvar skol sitja sjå. Mjuk brother, så brodnum skol, since fristi frama. Hail to a good friend, a guest has come inside. Where should he sit? He is impatient, standing on the threshold, ready to try his luck. I'd like to talk a little bit about some of the stanzas of the Havamal. So much of what the introductory words of wisdom, as you might call them, the words of the High One, the sayings of the High One, so much of what is contained in the intro of the Havamal, the first series of stanzas of the Havamal, have a lot to do with how we as hosts of a place, and how we behave as a host, or how we conduct ourselves as a host if we are welcoming in guests. And then it's also how a guest would behave or should be conducting themselves when approaching and entering into the host's place of residence. A guest has come inside. Where should he sit? He's impatient, standing on the threshold, ready to try his luck. I think of this as like a you never know what's going to happen. You walk into a strange place. You approach a new area. You don't know necessarily what's going on, and you are on edge. You are always looking around. You are always making sure that you know where your exits are, where your how you can react to a situation should it ensue, should something happen. Okay, so stanza 3 was Elds Thorf, James in Kominin och ne Colin, Mater och Voda, Ermani Thorf, Thame Hefnir, Fjolfarit. He needs a fire, the one who has just come in. His knees are shivering. Food and dry clothes will do him well after his journey over the mountains. Well, yes, absolutely. Right? We a traveler, a sojourner, somebody who is seeking shelter would need these things to make their stay comfortable and enjoyable. Stanza 4. Wattens Thorf, þeim til verður komin. Þeru og þóðalar, loðs udis, if sér getur meti, orts og entrogu. He needs water, the one who has just arrived, dry clothes, and warm welcome from a friendly host. And if he can get it, a chance to listen and be listened to. And, like I said, once again, I don't speak Nordic languages. I don't speak Swedish. I don't speak Danish. I don't speak Icelandic, Norwegian. And so if what I'm saying, how I'm pronouncing certain words of Old Norse, if it offends or if it's like, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about, hey, I'm not trying to say that I do. I'm just doing the best that I can with what we've got going on. So appreciate that understanding. Okay, stanza 5. Vits Thorf, þeim vidja rotor, dit heimahvat, et algebradi, veder se, ekki kan, och með snortrum seed. A man needs wisdom if he plans to wander widely. Life is easier at home. He'll be laughed at if he sits among the wise and has nothing to say. Stanza 6. Og higglandi sinni, skilti maður krussin vera, heldur gitnin geði, og forskru og fugl, grunnu grimskraga til. Þjáðin verður vitur vorum, því að ógröfa vín, fyr alvergri, in manit mikið. A wise man is not showy about his wisdom. He guards it carefully. He is silent when he comes to a stranger's home. Harm seldom befalls the watchful man, for you can never have a more faithful friend than a good supply of wisdom. Stanza 7. Invarigestur til vera kommer, sunna hlufri, þegir hlýður, in ágrum skoðar, svo nýðis fróða hverja fyrir. The watchful guest, when he arrives for a meal, should keep his mouth shut. Listening with his ears and watching with his eyes, that is how the wise man finds his way. Hin ser umgeren, lof och linksnafi, och det vi fått, äger skall, onnes björtsam I. A man is happy if he finds praise and friendship within himself. You can never be sure of where you stand in someone else's heart. Sår sel sjálfur umo, lof och vit medrun lífur. Því åt illråð, hefir opt þegir. Annars brosum or. A man is happy if he finds praise and wisdom within himself. Many men have received bad advice by trusting someone else. Hail to you and welcome, Zach Muntz. Raise my glass to you. We are reading a bit from the Havamal. I'm first trying to read in Old Norse and then reading the English translation from the Wanderer's Havamal as translated by Jackson Crawford. I'm probably doing a horrible job at reading the Old Norse versions of it. But I appreciate you all bearing with me. If you are enjoying what you're listening to and watching right now, share it around and bring in some folks of your friends to criticize me. I'm open to it. Stanza 10. Briði betri ber åt brauð tu åt. En se minvit mikið. Á því betra þykir þótt í ógnum stóð. Slíkir Wallets vera. A traveler cannot bring a better burden on the road than plenty of wisdom. It will prove better than money in an unfamiliar place. Wisdom is the comfort of the poor. Hail and welcome to you, Magic's Game Room. Hail and welcome to everybody, all who are listening, watching, tuning in. Thank you so much. This is a live reading of the Havamal. I am reading both the Old Norse and English translations from the Wanderer's Havamal, as written and authored by Jackson Crawford. Probably doing a grave injustice to the Old Norse language. I'm doing the best that I can based off of what I know, which is little. Just thought it would be fun, and I'm giving it a go, having fun. Okay, so stanza 12. Eras vagoter sem gott kveda, ul adva sonium, vi åt feravit, flera dricker, since till getsgumi. There is not as much good as men claim there is in alcohol for one's well-being. Getting a little bit touchy there, Odin. A man knows less as he drinks more and loses more and more of his wisdom. I'll drink to that. And also a little bit of tea. A little bit of tea. Let's see. Okay, so that was stanza 12. Stanza 13. Omniskerdi heter så ifnir odrum thrunir. Han stelir gediguma. Tis fulgus fjordum. Ik fjordar vek. Irgadri gunlarar. It's as if a memory stealing heroin broods overhead while you drink. A memory stealing heroin broods overhead while you drink, says he, and steals your mind away. I myself have been trapped in that bird's feathers when I drank at Gunnlod's home. Oh, yes, you did, Lord Odin. Yes, you did. Lyric verd vort offervi od ins fröde fljars vi öderlebast att ofter of hemtir. Hemtir. Sversit gate gumi. I was drunk. I was too drunk at wise Fjalar's house. The best kind of feast is the one you go home from with all your wits about you. That is true. That is most definitely true. The best feast is the kind that you leave from the host's hall and you still have all your wits about you. Don't go and be a guest in somebody's home, guys, and and get yourself wasted beyond all recognition. It's not a good time. All right, stanza 15. Thaglat och huglat skiljer fjordens barn och vigerjalf vera. Glader och rifir. Skili gomachver uns sin biverbana. A noble man should be silent, thoughtful, and bold in battle, but every man should also be cheerful and happy till the inevitable day of death. Yeah, man, like, be silent, be bold, be brash, be defining, be unapologetic, but be humble, Be happy. Be cheerful. Have a good time. Because we're not here for a long time, but we're here for a good time. I feel like a country song is, yeah, I'm not here for a long time, but I'm here for a good time. So pour me some moonshine. Give me that red wine. La, 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 la. Whatever it says. I don't know. I don't listen to country music very much. Stanza 16. I'm doing the best that I can. Unsliar higik muna lifa if han vig varsk. En el gefer honom enigi frith. Thought honom gera gefi. An unwise man thinks he'll live forever. This is a good one. I like this stanza. An unwise man thinks he'll live forever, if only he can avoid a fight. But old age will give him no peace, even if weapons do. Don't stand down from a fight. Elervok says, thanks for this, buddy. I'd stick around to listen, but I have got some recording to do. Yes, you do, and I'm looking forward to hearing from that. So for those that are in the live chat, Elervok, please subscribe to his channel. Wonderful musical tiala harp and drumming and handpan music. He's awesome stuff, man. I'm looking forward to meeting you one day. And Cody, that's Eldervok, that's Cody there. I'm looking forward to meeting you one day in person. I think that's a doable thing. It needs to happen. What page are you on so I can follow along, Zach? I am on page 8, and I am about to read stanza 17. So this is, if you have the Wanderer's Havamal of the Jackson Crawford Wanderer's Havamal, about to read stanza 17. If you guys are enjoying this and you're following along, share the video. Consider pledging to the channel through either super chat or super thanks or whatever the thing prompts you to want to do. But at the very least, please share this video on your timelines, because I would love to get more people listening and being a part of this. So thank you to everybody who's still here listening. All right, stanza 17. Hypir av glapi till kines kumir. Tysk hon ethethrumir. Alt sin. It's a fool who stares when he comes to a feast. He talks to himself, or he broods. As soon... I didn't finish the stanza. Hypir av glapi till kines kumir. Tysk han ethethrumir. Alt sin. If hin silg getir upi get guma. It's a fool who stares when he comes to a feast. He talks to himself, for he broods. As soon as he gets a drink, he'll say anything he knows. You gotta watch out for those types. As soon as they get a little bit of booze in them, man, they start chitter-chattering away. A bunch of numbskulls. Så invet vidare rotor och kefirfjord farit, hvergedi stillaguna hver, så vidandi ervits. Only a man who is wide-traveled and has wandered far can know something about how other men think. Such a man is wise. You know, I think about that Family Guy episode where that Vietnam vet is sitting there and he says, I've seen some things, man, and some stuff. Wouldn't recommend it. But it has, you know, there's some merit there, you know. The men who have the people, you know, men, whatever. It's we're not being gender specific in the 21st century and in the modern day. First of all, it's Pride Month, so genders set aside. We are not being gender specific, but anyone who is wide traveled or has traveled far can know something about what other people think. Such a person is wise. You got to get cultured, man. You got to experience the world around you. Don't get stuck into the same day in and day out mundane stuff, right? All right. Let's see here. Haldit it keri dreker tho het hofifmjöd, meli thorf jathegi, og inistes vorthik egni, ot thugegner, snem ot sofa. Don't hold on to the mead horn, but drink your fair share. Say something useful, or stay quiet, and no one else will judge you poorly if you go to sleep early. I've been in that position. I've been in that position as a host and as a guest. You know, don't drink too much. Have a bit. Enjoy. It's okay. You're going to either say something useful or shut your mouth, you know. And if you have to retire, if you feel it right for you to step away and, hey, you know, I've done my thing. I've said my piece. It's time for me to go lay down, guys. Nobody's going to think ill of you. Gróðagur hólar nema viti ser aldrei. Oft fer hlugis með hróskumum komir mani heimskun megi. A gluttonous man, unless he watches himself, will eat to his own detriment. Wise men will often ridicule a fool on account of his belly. You know, I ridicule my own self on account of my belly. I have my own perception image of myself that I need to work on. Because you know, for anybody that's stayed with me, watched this content, viewed this channel, you may have noticed a little bit of a filling out some things differently than I have before. You could blame COVID. One could blame a pandemic. One could blame a lot of things. But you know, there's you got to be accountable. You know, you got to be, you got to watch yourself when it comes to stuff like this. All right, moving on. Stanza 21. Hjarðir þótt vitu, nýr þér heimskulu, og gangsa þó of grassi, en osvidir kom eigi, ins malmoga. Even cows know when they should go home and leave behind the fields, but an unwise man does not know the measure of his own appetite. Don't keep eating after you're full. Take your fill. Be satisfied. You know what I mean? Vissu og ilaskopi, Claire et hevitne, itki honfit, et honvita thrifti, et hon irit vamavan. A stupid man and an undisciplined one laughs at everything. He hasn't learned a lesson that would do him good. Self isn't flawless. Busvidir vaukir olar netir og hugir et hitvine. Þó móður, og móðir kurmer, alt vil sem var. A fool stays awake all night, worrying about everything. He's fatigued, but the morning comes and his problems remain unsolved. This is a stanza, guys, that I have reflected on so many times. This is something that we can all easily fall into. A fool stays awake all night, worrying about everything, and they are fatigued when the morning comes and their problems remain unsolved. How many of us have things going on in our lives wherein it weighs heavy on our hearts and our minds the night that we lay our heads down to sleep? We're stressed out about it. And it's literally keeping us up at night. And then the next day, the morning comes, we wake up. The problem is still there. You know, it doesn't do any good to worry. It doesn't do any good to fret. It doesn't do any good for us to dwell on things that, sure, they may need to be addressed, but it, you know, worrying about it is one thing. Fretting about it is one thing. Addressing it and acknowledging it and taking action is an entirely different thing. And that's where we want to be. We want to be in that position where we're addressing the problems, addressing the concerns, addressing the challenges, taking on those things that need to be taken on, right? And not just falling asleep at the end of the, oh no, what am I gonna do about this, that, and the other? What did this person say? What about this person thought? This comment, this retweet, this share about my post that I made. Oh no, what's gonna happen? You're fretting over things, and it's gonna remain unsolved at the end of the day because or at the next day, because there's no resolution set in place. There's something that needs to be addressed. Address it. Stanza 25, I think we're at now. An unwise man, right? Ons noter hyger ser alla vera vichelen vinder vini. Tho thot vinir erat thingi kommer at han or from later for. An unwise man thinks anyone who laughs with him is his friend. But he won't find these friends when he goes to court. No one will speak on his behalf. Another very relatable experience, right? Just because you're having a good time, just because you're, exchanging in niceties with people, right? Doesn't mean that they're your friend. Doesn't mean that they're gonna have your back. Doesn't mean that they could just be mocking you. They could just be, laughing for the sake of laughing. Gotta be watchful of that. Okay, so os noter sic alt vita if hon o ser I vaveru. Hit ki hon vet what hon skol vit kveda if hons fresta firar. A stupid man thinks he knows everything if he hides himself in a corner. But he doesn't even know what he'll answer if men ask him questions. No, they don't. No, they sure don't. And I'm going to turn off this noise that's happening right now in the background because I don't need to hear that. Bear with me, folks, while I just turn off noise. There we go. All right. How's everybody doing tonight, by the way? I still have 4 people watching. You guys are quiet. That's awesome. You're listening. Hopefully, you're still watching. But how's everybody doing? Let me know how things are going. Stanza 27. Os noter, mader, meet aldir komir. Thought bast at hinthigi. Engi thought ver et han exki kan. Nema han meli til mart. Veti wat hin vetki vit. Thought on metil mer metil til mart. It's best for a fool to keep his mouth shut among other people. No one will know he knows nothing if he says nothing. An ignorant man doesn't know how little he knows, no matter how much he talks. Why do I feel like I've heard this said something before? He who knows nothing says nothing, or he who knows nothing. Yeah, it's an ambiguous term that's shortened in this stanza, but I've heard it before. Hail and good evening, Seal Grizzle. Hail to you, our channel member who's tuning into the live reading of the Havamal. We are just at stanza 28 right now, talking about how it's best for a fool to keep his mouth shut, blah, blah, blah. If you don't know nothing, don't say nothing, and it's best if you don't because people won't know no different. Yee-haw, yippee-ki-yay, and all that jazz. Yes, we are reading from the Wanderer's Havamal. So I'm reading both the Old Norse and English translations. Probably butchering the reading of the Old Norse version of it because I'm not a linguist. I'm just doing my best, which is what we ask of anybody. Much appreciated, Texas Ranch Witch. Thank you. Slacked more than I care to admit lately. Well, it's okay. But thank you for being here, and I appreciate the sentiment. All right, stanza 29. Urme, Meilir, så ever þegir. Stað lásta stafi. Hreið mitt, tunga nemir, herðeinir egi, opt, sör, hugget omgeder. You will. Actually, you know what? Hold on. Let me back up. That was stanza 29. I skipped stanza 28, y'all. My bad. So an ignorant man is okay. All right. So stanza 28. Let me back up. Further, I'm going to read stanza 28 and 29, then I'll come back to the English version. My apologies. Further, the thukisk. Efrega kan och säger it sama. Edvitu linje, mego itja syne. Vi erginger umaguna. Urna milje, så evia þegir. Stadnöslu stifi. Tratmetit tunga, neme haldern egi, oper ser öget gelir. You will seem wise if you know the answer and know how to explain it. People are not able to keep a secret of what they hear about other people. You will say plenty of nothing with all of your talking if you never close your mouth. A hasty tongue, unless it's disciplined, often earns its own punishment. I'm asking for criticism. I'm asking for feedback. I'm asking for ridicule, even, as it were. But åt augebrogi skal alnum hofa thought til kynis komi, margar þá fröðir djúkisks, ef hann freginum erat, och ne hann þurfir fruma. No one should ridicule anyone else, even if he comes visiting. Many a man seems wise if he is never questioned, and he gets to brood with dry skin. Fruður þykist så fljótur þykir, gistir al gist heiðin. Vet gula, så vederglísir, þor hon with gruesome glami. A man may seem wise if he pokes fun at another and disdains a fellow guest, but the man who talks behind another man's back knows little, even if he laughs with men. Gunmar magiri, erusk gaghofni. In it virir rekisk, other ruk, tot mun vera, urir gesta vidgis. Many men are kind to one another, but will fight at a feast. There will always be conflict between men. A guest will fight a guest. Örliger veder, skili opirfo, neme till kimis komi. Sitter och snupir, leter sem sugen in sig. Kon fregna att få. You should eat your meals early unless you're visiting a friend. A hungry man sits and gets sluggish and his wits are impaired. There's more truth to poetry than that, y'all, because, I mean, I like to eat my meals early in the day and not eat too late. And when I do eat late, because I'm, celebrating a birthday or some other sort of, celebration, that sort of thing, I do. I get sluggish, and I'm like, I oftentimes have problems sleeping, that sort of thing. It's definitely a thing. It is a thing. And if you've ever listened to my content, if you ever listened to my references to Eric Shervin on the Ravens Call, when you say it's a thing, it's time to take a shot. Yep. Wash it down with a little bit of tea. Little chaser, little whatever. That was stanza 33. Let's see here. Let's see here. Stanza 34. Alfarver mikit. Alfarver mikit ter eels wiener. Tot a brauna bui. En ter gos wiener. Ligia gangjuegne tot kan se per farim. It's a long and crooked walk to a bad friend, even if he lives nearby. But it's an easy road to a good friend, no matter how long the journey. I love that stanza. It is, to a good friend's place, wherever they may be. The distance, the miles, the journey, the challenges that come along the way to get there are inconsequential because they are good friends. Doesn't mean much about the challenges along the way because it's an easy road to get there. Ganna skola gestia vera it edenum stóð. Lífir veðurleiðir if lengnistir annars fletjamo. You should keep moving. You should never be a guest forever in any one place. Your welcome will wear out if you stay too long beneath another's roof. I've been in that position. I've been the host of a guest who stayed too long, and I don't like to admit it, but I've probably been, in comparison, the guest that stays too long at my host's place in some cases. So it's an admonishment, right? It's something you have to be careful of. No mooching. Exactly right. Don't mooch off of your hosts. Know when your welcome has been worn out and be on your way. Yes, and now the next one. Bu era vera thot litirso helir heima hver. Thot tver getir egi og taugrappen sol thot thot betra in burn. It's better to have a home, even if it's a little. Everyone should call somewhere home. Even if you own just 2 goats beneath a faulty roof, that is still better than begging. Don't discredit what you have as less worthy of what the next person has. The most humblest of halls can be the most richest and most valuable of places to reside. It's true. Doesn't have to be the most extravagant, doesn't have to be the most elaborate. The most humblest of halls, especially of your own, can be the richest. And in similar fashion, right? Ur or betra thot litirse or thot litirse haller heima hver. Blúðug hjarta, þeim blóðaskál, there is mól hveit mortar. Better to have a home, even if it's a little. Everyone should call somewhere home. Your heart will be wounded if you have to beg for every meal from somebody else. It will. It'll eat you alive. Better have something of your own to call your own. No matter how little or humble or modest it may seem to you, it's better to have that. Yes, this is one of my next most favorite stanzas, right? Våpnum sinnum skåla veli fettigagna framar. Dvi åt ovist vitta. Njerveder av vegnamu geros fjorfguma. Never go, even a single step, without a weapon at your side. You never know when you might find yourself in need of a spear. Don't put yourself in a position where you may think that you need something of protection without preparing to address the situation. Don't leave your home. Don't go out into the open. Don't venture out into the wild. Don't leave the sanctity, the sovereignty of your hearth and home without carrying with you the thing that is going to protect you against those wild and ravenous elements that exist. Yeah, because you never know. You never know. Let's see, stanza 39. Vanka ek mildit man edas var metergården, et veter thigja theger, edas sin svjar, svagib fjoten, at let se ljaun ifthegi. I have never met a man so generous nor so hospitable that he would not welcome repayment. Nor have I met a man so giving that he turned down a thing offered in return. I feel like we're all in that position, right? We're not so great. We're not so above the exchanging of gifts, the reciprocation efforts, you know. Let's see here. Where are we going to go with this? Where are we going to stop? Because we are almost at about an hour of streaming here. A wonderful live streaming event taking place. We got about another 15 minutes. So if you're tuning in now, watching for the very first time, hail and welcome. My name is Jesse. Midgard Musings is my channel. Norse paganism is the topic of discussion. We are reading today from the Havamal, the Dr. Jackson Crawford translation. I'm doing the best that I can by reading the Old Norse stanzas as translated into modern English. For anybody who's tuning in, watching, listening, that is better at reading Old Norse and a reconstructed pronunciation of it, props to you. You've done more work than I have. I'm just doing the best that I can with what I got. But we are going to continue on with the next 15 minutes, and we're going to pick up at stanza 40, which says, Your sens finger hefir, skil thorfer thola, opt sparnir ledenum, dots hefir liefinum hoget, mart yengner ver in varia. Do not be so sparing in using your money that you don't use it for your own needs. Don't hoard it. You know what I mean? Often when you save for your children, will end up in the hands of your enemies. Many things will go worse than you expect. It's a fine line, you know, to save up for the future, to give your descendants something to draw from. There's definitely something to be said for that, but there's a fine line to it all. Vapnum och vadum skulle viner glädjösk. Tot sjadum sinst, vid gefender och ingreifender, erusk längst, vinner if thought, bider åt verdaval. Friends should provide their friends with weapons and clothing. This kind of generosity shows. Generous mutual giving is the key to lifelong friendship. I can't agree more. Generous mutual giving. Mutual being the operative word. You give too much. If you give so much that it is taken without being reciprocated, then you're being taken advantage of. And there's a balance and checks and stuff that need to be set in place for such things. Vinsinum skal vin vera och gauder grof vid gif. Klater vid klati, skili hjulr toka en lausning vid ligi. Be a friend to your friend, and repay each gift with a gift. Repay laughter with laughter. Repay treachery with treachery. You don't always have to be nice to people. You know what I'm saying? You're not always supposed to be nice to people. When ill is done to you, then ill is to be repaid. It's not all rainbows and butterflies out here, my friends. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Vin sinum gal viner vera, them och this vin in övensnusir, skili egi, viner vera. Be a friend to your friend, and also to his friend, but never be a friend to the enemy of your friend. Also a good one. Now this is the next part. The next few stanzas that we're going to get into is again having to do with friendship, kinship, almost in a way. Vetsu if du vinot don þú vertruir, och vill þú av honom gåta. Sorry, och vill þú av honom get. Geiði skal du vin thon landa, och gylfen skipta fara att finna åt. If you have a good friend and really trust him and want good to come of your friendship, you should speak your mind with him, exchange gifts, visit him often, speak your mind to him. An eye for an eye, like Grizzle says. Speak your mind to this friend that you really trust, a good friend that you really trust. Quit skirting around the bush. Say the thing that needs to be said. Be honest, be open. If þú åt annan, danst du illa truir, bilder av honom och gott geta, parket skulta vid don mefil, en flat hygge och jauda lauskun vid ligi. But if you have another friend and you mistrust him, but want to benefit from him nonetheless, you should speak to him kindly, flatter him, and repay his treachery with your own. Eye for an eye. It's not necessarily that all the time, you know. Sometimes you got to get nasty. Sometimes you got to get dirty. Sometimes you got to look out for your own. And if a betrayal was executed, if trust was broken, if frith was broken, all bets are off. Maybe not all bets are off. I mean, frith can be repaired. There's definitely something to be said about that. Frith is something that can be repaired. There's considerations to that as well. Thought en of thon þú ilja truir, och þeir grunir et hans gedi. Delia, skalta vitain, okum hook Emilia, Glixgulia, Glufen. This same friend, if you mistrust him and suspect him to be fake or false in his words, you should talk with him, laugh with him, but repay just what he gives you. All right, so we're going to read just a couple more stanzas. in the next 6 or 7 minutes or so. So Grizzle, yeah, feel like you always try to be nice first, but you got to take care of yourself if it's continually not reciprocating. Exactly. There has to be that reciprocation. There has to be that understanding. That's what Frith is about, man. That's what Frith is about. Reciprocation, mutual obligation, the tying of weird that is understood to be beneficial, mutual benefit, that mutual obligation, that mutual benefit. If that fails in some sort of way, if that is not met, you got to look out for what you got to look out for. You got to take care of what you got to take care of. Thank you, Zach. Says thank you for this and for reading both Old Norse and English. It helps you to follow along and explain it so well. Cool, awesome, man. I appreciate that, dude. Thank you so much for commenting. We'll pick this up at another time, I'm sure, but we're going to read a couple more stanzas for the remaining time that we have, starting at stanza 46, which, no, actually, no, that was stanza 46, the last thing that we said, that, repay him with what he gives you. So we're going to start now at stanza 47, which says, Unger, Unger var ik voor dem, voor ik een samen, door vader ik vilja vega. Audiger don musk, ik onnen van, hermanum gamen. I was young once. I walked alone, and I became lost in my way. I felt like I was rich when I met another traveler. People's joy is in other people. And I'm actually going to stop here, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to pick this back up at another time with stanza 48. And here's the reason why I want to stop here at stanza 48. I want to bookmark that. We're going to stop because, man alive, this says a lot. I was young once, and I wandered alone. And in that loneliness, in that solidarity, in that solitariness, you lost your way. Think about that. Just think about it. You were young. You walked alone and became lost in that way while you were alone. This is not a judgment call. This is not something that I would call a reckoning of sorts to people that are solitary practitioners. But you felt like you were rich when you met another traveler. The richness of your personality, the richness of your existence, how you as a person, how you as a heathen, how you as an individual thrive in your existence, how you tap into your exalted and higher self, is done so through the exchange, through the sharing of other people's experience, right? When you meet other people, because one person's joy is the joy of other people. Kind recognizes kind. Fire feeds fire. You may be a solitary heathen. You may be a solitary practitioner. You may be isolating yourself. You may be withdrawing yourself from an existence of a community that not me, I don't know. You may be withdrawing yourself from the existence of a community that you know. You will find yourself lacking in that withdrawal. You think that there is growth You think that there is benefit in being solitary. Solitary, withdrawn, there's a time and a place for that. People's joy is in other people. Your joy is in other people. Don't downplay the value that exists within community, within your healing community. And maybe you feel like there's not one. Maybe you feel like there isn't like-minded heathens around you. I beg to differ. If there aren't people around you that you know of, then put your place, make your presence known. If there is not a place for other heathens to gather, if there is not a common area, if there is not a like-minded assembly of people in your area for them to gather, then make one. You find a way, or you make a way. People's joy is in other people. You know? It starts with a spark. The greatest and most devastating of forest fires started with a spark. A spark started the flame that engulfed acreage of land and set a precedence, set a understanding, set something ablaze. It started with a spark. How does one reach out? Grizzle. Put yourself out there. We live in a time, we live in a moment in time where things like social media are rampant. Everybody has a connection to the world outside of their own world, with the rare exceptions, you know? If you're not seeing anything in your social media circles, and that's again where many of us exist now and today, is it's in a social media driven carriage, right? The way things go, the way things advance is driven by the monster of social media algorithms. If you're not a part of it, if you're not in it, put yourself in it. Several years ago, I live in Middle Tennessee, Murfreesboro. I did not see anything equivalent to what I was looking for in heathen community. Similar, but not exact. So I created it. I created the Middle Tennessee Heathens group. We have 300 and some odd members. With the pandemic and all that sort of stuff, like when we launched it, it became a bit inactive for a while, but it exists. It starts with the spark. You gotta start that spark, man. You gotta light those fires and you gotta kick the tires. I don't care where you are in Midgard. You have the ability to start a fire in your area. You have the ability to set the world ablaze. you can make a lasting impression. You can leave a legacy. If you're listening to this right now, and if you're watching this right now, you are not above or below. You are not below, I should say. You are above it. If you don't think you can, yes, you can. You are not below being the thing that starts a movement in your area. You can do it. How do you reach out? Put yourself out there. Step out of that comfort zone because you are capable. You can do it. It may not be comfortable. It may not be the thing that you're used to, and it may not be the thing that you have ever done in your life. But if you are looking for it, and if it's not something that someone else has already done, you can be the thing. Because if you're looking for it, then I guarantee you that other people in your area are looking for it. When we have people want to join the Middle Tennessee Heathens group, the majority of folks that do so are not part of a kindred, are not part of a tribe, and they are looking for something. That is how you do it. You gauge interest, you gauge desire by asking these questions. If you're watching me on YouTube, if you're watching this live stream right now, you have a social media account. You have something that you can do. You can create something. And it doesn't have to be grand at first. It can seem daunting. It can seem challenging. It can seem so your aspirations can be so great that you can't see the forest through the trees because you want something so much that you can't see the initial start of it all. You have to plant a seed before the tree can grow. And Grizzle says that you feel like you don't know enough to lead. Just do it. Maybe you don't know. I don't know you. You know you. I'm sure that there are people who know you. Talk to those people. Ask questions. Poll some people. Start a conversation. Just because you don't think that you can lead doesn't mean that you can't. Maybe you can. If you're asking about how do you start something, then that tells me that you have the initiative, you have the drive, you have the desire to want something. Where are you? You know, where are you geographically? If you're looking for something, if you're not sure if you have something in your area, then I mean, ask. Like, is there something already going on? Do I need to start something from the beginning? Do I need to start this fire? Do I need to spark this thing into life and existence? Or is there something perhaps already in existence? Is there something that is perhaps dormant, resting, ready to be revived? And can I breathe that new life? Can I give that breath of life? Can I speak the inspiration? Can I tap into the Ansus? Central Kentucky. Oh man, Central Kentucky. All right. I'm gonna give you something to look at, Gristle. The Mid-South Heathen Gristed. This is a group that is on Facebook. Okay. If you're watching me on YouTube, maybe you have presence on Facebook. That is the Mid-South. That's Kentucky, Tennessee, Indiana, that region of the country. There's a group. There you go. Facebook is a big thing now. The metaverse, the that whole thing. Most everybody that I have that follows me on YouTube has some sort of presence on the Facebook platform. You know what I mean? But if you're adverse to using Facebook for whatever reasons, if you been banned from the platform, you don't have no whatever therefore on it. Like, I mean, okay, that doesn't stop you. It's a roadblock in a way. Like, oh, I can't do that because of reasons. That's fine. Do something else. Discord. I mean, I don't know. Like, the ideas, the inspiration is endless, and it's only limited by what you limit yourself to. Anybody listening and watching, I don't care where you are in the world, I don't care where you are in Midgard, you find a way, you search, you look, or you make a way. You find a way or you make one. You can do it. We all can do it. And this is where the future of heathenry lies, is in the doing. It's not in the listening. It's not in the watching. It's not in the, this is great, like Havamal stuff. Like, I mean, I'm an idiot. I don't speak Old Norse. I couldn't recite this stuff off of the whim if I tried to. I'm reading from a book and I'm doing the best that I can, but it's engaging content, and we're here to be engaged, and we're here to learn. We're all here to learn. And some of us are driven to learn to the extent of leading. And leading is a beautiful thing, because leaders, great leaders, are defined by their ability to do things. Not to dictate how things are done, but to do the thing that needs to be done. How does one start something? How does one reach out? Well, you do the thing. You put yourself out there. You put your foot in the mud. You walk the walk. Spark the fire, my friends. And it can be done. And it is being done. So that is the lesson for tonight's live reading of the Havamal, which kind of went down various paths. If you guys enjoyed this live stream, and if you want to support this platform, Midgard Musings as a whole, me, the things that we're doing here, the things that we're talking about, if you want to help support in that way, consider becoming a member of this channel. Consider becoming a patron on Patreon. There are various perks and stuff. If you just check the description for the Linktree link, all of it is posted in that Linktree. It's a one-stop shop. You just got to click on one thing and just look and see if it fits you. That's all. Just give it a little peek. Give it a gander. Give it a little. Ooh, what's this? Hey, what's this? Hey, let me smell it. That smells good. Let me taste it. Ooh, I like the way that tastes. Ooh, I'd like to get some more of that. Let me check it out. All right, it's all down there in the Linktree link. No pressure. But it's late, and we've been doing this now for over an hour, and I've had a great time. It was impromptu, and we got a really good response. So thank you to Gristle. Thank you to Magic's Game Room. Thank you to Zach. Thank you to Eldervok. Right? Thank you to the folks in Texas. Thank you to the folks in Columbus, Ohio. Thank you to all of you fine folk that are out here listening, watching, engaging in Midgard Musings content. I put this getup on. I have a dirty freaking background over here because, streaming with a background, a virtual background would have been worse than if I would have to do it this way. But you are awesome. You are wonderful, and your participation, your involvement is greatly appreciated. I appreciate all of you, and thank you, Gristle. This was beautiful. Really enjoyed it, and thanks for the advice. Thank you for asking. Thank you for being the one that wants to do the thing in your area. Big ups to you. Big applause. If you're in Middle Kentucky or the Mid-Kentucky area, also remember that in a couple of weeks now, Suna Bloat is happening in Springfield, Tennessee. I'm going to put that also down here. in the the live stream thing because I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be there in person. If you're in Middle Kentucky and you want to head down to Springfield, Tennessee, come by and say hi because I'm gonna be there. This ugly mug, live and in person, baby, live and in Technicolor. You guys are any close to my age, you understand like Technicolor was a thing even before the whole fact. So yeah, linked in the live chat. Sunabloat. It's a midsummer celebration. We're gonna have vendors. There's gonna be rune castings. I'm gonna be there as a vendor doing rune castings, guys. Probably gonna be talking about it on the Random Heathen Ramblings podcast over the next couple of weeks. In the live chat right now, for those that are listening and watching, Sunabloat 2022, hosted by Raven Moonhearth. Might have to make some plans. I agree, my good friend. You might have to make some plans. We're several weeks away. Well, about 2 weeks away. It's Friday going into Saturday, right? 2 weeks from today. Sunabloat 2022, kicking off. Strong, hard, in your face. That's what she said. Michael Scott, reference to The Office. All right? The fires are crackling. The sparks have been lit. The beacons have been lit. Are you going to answer? Are you going to be there? I will, and I hope to see you there. So thank you so much to all of my friends and listeners, followers, subscribers, and supporters for being here on this random Midgard Musings live stream where we recited some stuff from the Havamal. This will happen again. We will pick up where we left off. Thank you so much for your involvement. Thank you so much for your inclusion. Stay safe, stay healthy. May the gods continue to notice you, and may your ancestors always walk with you. Hail and